All right. Now that you have a decent idea of what the budget will look like for your immigration to Japan, let's talk agency and sponsors. You've probably already come across a few big names like the JET program or Interac. In this section of the module, I'll break down the top three options you can use to decide which one fits your goals and lifestyle. First up, let's start with the JET program, short for Japan Exchange and Teaching. It's one of the most popular options as it's a government run program that places you in public schools across Japan. With JET, you will usually work as an ALT, which is an assistant language teacher in those schools. One major perk, great benefits. JET is well structured with competitive pay, subsidized housing, and even assistance with your flight to Japan. Plus, it has an amazing alumni network to keep you sane. But there's a catch, of course. JET has a long, competitive, and slightly nerve wracking application process. Applications open in the fall, and if you're selected, you won't start until the following summer. You also don't get to pick your placement, so if you're a Tokyo dreamer, brace yourself. Because jet places persons all over Japan, you might end up in a big city or a rural town. It's a bit of a lottery with them, but it's perfect if you're looking for cultural immersion and stability. Next up, we have Interac, Japan's largest private company that hires ALTs for public schools and dispatches them throughout the country. They're like the private sector version of JET. Interac has branches across Japan in the Kanto region, Kansai, and Chubu. The popular names you want to remember when applying are Interac North, Interac Kanto North, Interac South, Interac Kansai and South Central, as well as Interac West Company. One cool thing about Interac is that they hire year round, so you don't have to wait for that one jet application window. However, the pay is usually a bit lower and the benefits like housing assistance and flights aren't as generous. The perk is that Interac's application process is far shorter than JET, with more flexibility in placements. Now, you might also have heard about Interac through a company called ILDS International Employment Agency. Whether or not you have, they are essentially a recruiter for Interac for persons in Caribbean regions such as Jamaica, Barbados, and Trinidad and Tobago. They're a great option if you want some extra guidance, especially if you're new to the idea of working in Japan. I'll leave the company's webpage in the description below, along with the application pages for persons on other continents such as North America, Indo-Pacific, and the EU. These persons will apply directly through Interac. Finally, there's direct hiring, which means working directly for a school instead of through programs like JET or companies like Interac. These jobs often come with more autonomy and better pay, but they're harder to find, especially if you're applying from overseas. Now, direct hiring is more common with private schools, international schools, or eikaiwas, which are the English conversational schools. If you're already in Japan and have experience, this could be a great next step, primarily if you're seeking to transition out of the ALT lifestyle and into a more beneficial position. Some perks of these companies, you have more control. You get to pick where you apply and you also get to negotiate your terms. Some eikaiwas like Eon or ECC even offer housing support and training programs. For international schools, they often come with a higher pay and a more Western teaching experience. This is where your TEFL or TESOL certificate is going to come in handy. Of course, there is also a catch. This is all up to you. You have to find the job, you have to ace the interview, and you have to manage the logistics. Also, the hours can be intense, especially at eikaiwas where evenings and weekends are prime teaching times. So, to wrap up, Whether you're going with Jet for stability, Interac for more flexibility, or a direct hire for independence, Japan has options for everyone. Keep your goals in mind, whether it's financial, cultural, or career focus, and you will find your path. Whichever path you choose, Japan is calling. So pack your bags, guys, sharpen your teaching skills, and get ready to make a difference one English lesson at a time. Feel free to reach out to me on Instagram if you need additional guidance. Matane!